"You're late," he said calmly, standing in the doorway of his penthouse, a city of lights glowing behind him. She stood frozen, clutching her small purse, her breath shallow, dress borrowed, heels slightly too tight. Her hair, pinned with trembling fingers, looked elegant but rushed. Her pearl earrings weren't real. But the fear in her eyes, real. The desperation, real. She didn't speak, just nodded, stepping inside slowly like she was walking into a lion's den. "One night," he said again, his voice quiet but firm. "That was the agreement." She nodded again, the words stuck in her throat. Every step echoed through the marble floor, and the chandelier above her shimmered with a kind of quiet judgment. He gestured toward the table, set for two, silverware gleaming, candles lit, a soft melody playing in the background. "Would you like some wine?" he asked. She shook her head. Her hands clutched the chair before she sat, her body still trembling beneath her calm mask. "I just want this to be over," she whispered. He raised an eyebrow. "Over." She finally looked up. "You know why I'm here?" "I said yes because I don't have time to wait for miracles. My daughter doesn't have time." He stared at her for a moment, his expression unreadable. Then he slowly sat across from her. "You think I brought you here to take something from you?" Her silence was answer enough. He leaned back in his chair and exhaled. "That's not why you're here." She blinked, confused. "But you said—" "I said one night," he interrupted. "That was the test. I needed to see if a mother's love still exists in a world so numb." She didn't understand. "Why would you test that?" "Because I've seen 1,000 people ask for help," he said. "Most of them wanted sympathy, or money, or leverage. But you were willing to sacrifice everything, not for yourself, for someone who can't even speak for herself." Her lips parted, but no sound came. "You said your daughter's only chance is an experimental treatment overseas, right?" he continued. "You applied, got denied, the slots were full." She nodded, eyes now welling. "I know," he said, "because I fund that program." Her heart dropped. "Then this was never about—" "No," he said gently. "This dinner wasn't about proving yourself. It was about reminding me why I started that program in the first place. And why it matters who gets chosen." She looked down, hands trembling. "So what happens now?" He stood and walked to a small table in the corner. When he returned, he placed a sealed envelope in front of her. She opened it with shaking fingers. Inside was a signed confirmation. Her daughter had been approved. Full medical sponsorship, immediate entry, travel and accommodation included. Her hands flew to her mouth as she tried to breathe. "But why?" she choked. "Because I saw what you were willing to give," he said. "And I realized you'd already given enough." A tear fell, then another, until her face was streaked and shining. "I came here thinking I would lose a part of myself," she whispered. "Instead, I feel like I got it back." He offered the faintest smile. "Your daughter's going to live. That's the only thing that matters tonight." She stood slowly, walked toward him, and placed a trembling hand on his arm. "You didn't have to do this." "You're wrong," he said. "I absolutely did." She nodded, speechless, her heart still racing, but no longer from fear. "Thank you," she whispered, "not for saving her, for not making me lose myself in the process." As she turned to leave, her steps lighter, the weight on her shoulders lifted, he watched her go, not with possession, but with something far rarer. Respect. And long after she disappeared down the hallway, he remained at the window, staring into the lights of a city that rarely blinked. But tonight it had changed. So, the world breaks people every day, but sometimes the most powerful thing one person can do is remind another they're worth more than what desperation asks of them. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.